GG.
That's my friend! And you're found you!
Okay, we're back with a coffee and we're back in platinum. Let's go. My nose, it feels like I have to sneeze. Okay, it's gone. You know that feeling? Actually, it's a little bit there still. Oh my god, that's so annoying. Anywho's, let's talk about difficulty. Is League a difficult game? Yes. My god, these intros are so bad. Are they though? Yes, they are. Are they though? Yes, they are. I probably just brought 10 people to click off this video just by doing that, but anyways, let's talk about difficulty. In a field where there are 10 people with extremely good, like basically there's 10, imagine this, there's 10 people, one of them is extremely good at it, 9 of them are extremely bad at it, okay? The one person that's extremely good will always shine and be number 1 and win. However, the other 9 bad players will compete for 2nd place. And there's not much difference between 2nd and 10th place at all. And this is how many skills work in reality, you know? If you think about musical instruments, for example, there's so many people who just barely touch the surface of learning an instrument. And there's kind of a lot of people that mastered it in a way, in a sense. Not like mastered it, but got to a very proficient skill level. Because the barrier of entry is so high, right? And League of Legends is not one of these skills. Okay, League of Legends doesn't work like that at all. Because there's so many players that even like marginal and small skill differences matter and have an impact on your rank at all levels. The concept of skill variance comes to mind here, where you have a rank range depending on your daily level of play, because nobody plays consistent enough to always win, then lose, then win, then lose, and so on. There's always like a higher variance to it, you know? This kind of concept is explored much more deeply in endeavors such as poker, for example. Poker talks a lot about variance and tilt, because in poker, the way you have to imagine it is similar to League. If you play really well, you have a certain hand, you know exactly how to play it into whatever you're reading from your opponents, you have a high chance of winning. But even if you play it perfectly, there's always like this 10 or 20% chance of variance that you will still lose, and the other one just has more luck in a better hand, you know? Even if you have like the second best hand in poker, you could get unlucky, and the other one has like the best hand, right? That's the thing. Or plays it better. That's another thing. You can bluff and stuff, you know. There's a lot of skill to it that overlaps with League. And it's in poker, the concept of tilting, that's where it actually comes from. I don't know if you know that. Poker actually invented the term tilting, which just happens when your emotions overwhelm you pretty much. Your emotions have a bigger impact on your decision making because of something that happened where you think it's not fair type of deal, you know? And in poker, it's an actual skill to master tilt, which is also very interesting to me. I read this book, The Mental Game of Poker, which explored very deeply how to handle tilt, how to think about it in the context of poker, but it applies to League as well, which is super interesting to me. And people don't think of it as like a skill that you can master. They think, oh my god, I'm a person that tilts. You know, it's a fixed mindset. Having a growth mindset towards tilting, definitely gonna help. Understanding that you can do that, you know. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Yeah, that's one of the much more difficult parts of League. Clicking, all of this stuff, the knowledge, it's difficult, but the mental game of League, in that sense, is extremely, extremely difficult, because you can play perfect, you can be faker, you can be the best player in the universe, you have 20,000 APM and just go crazy in this game, but it does not matter, you're still going to lose in some scenarios. It's very, very difficult to wrap our minds around this as human beings, because our brains tries to be efficient with information. And the most efficient way to think about things is black and white thinking, right? This is good, this is bad. how do you do that in League? Like, wait, before I talk about League, actually, why does the brain do this? It's about reinforcement, right? If you're working out, what does your brain do? It rewards you. Well, first of all, it tells you when to stop, and second of all, it rewards you afterwards for feeling a little bit better. So basically, it always tells you when to stop, and that it was still a good thing afterwards. You're feeling better. That's what the people are talking about when they go to the gym and they're like, yeah, I'm feeling so much better. That's it, because your brain rewards you for becoming more healthy. And that is like black and white, pretty much, You overstretch your muscles, the brain says, stop it, please, and then it just recovers, and then the brain says, lovely, let's do it again, In League of Legends is a little bit more difficult, because if you do something well, first of all, you're not getting rewarded for it instantly in the game, Imagine you get perfect CS. Is your brain like, wow, this is amazing? Maybe it will. But if you do it for like 100 games, or like perfect CS is a pretty bad example, but maybe it's the easiest to understand, Or let's talk about side laning, maybe. You had like perfect side laning for 100 games in a row, and you lost 70 games of those games. Now, your brain fundamentally is wired to look at the win and loss. You won the game, your brain says, lovely, let's go, that was good. And when you lose, your brain is like, terrible, let's not do this again. But that's very bad. Like, that's how the brain goes into it, but that's very bad because you can lose games that you played perfectly in a sense, quote unquote perfect. It's not perfect, of course, but just think about it like this for a second to make it more clear in the hyperbole, pretty much. And if you win, you could have won because you got carried, So your brain rewards you for getting carried as well at the start. And it depends on the brain. It depends on the person, Some people learn from their parents how to approach learning skills correctly, but many people didn't. So that's where I'm coming from. My parents didn't teach me how to think about this, So I have to learn for myself, which is fine, You're not gonna get all of the knowledge in the world from your parents. Only, I guess, just different things, Some parents teach different things. It's completely fine. Just being on the pursuit of learning it is the important part, in my opinion. Anyways, that is what makes it kind of difficult at the start. And that's why it's tilting as well, because you got carried, you're doing the same thing next game, and you lose. And you're like, that is weird. I did the exact same thing that I did last game. Last game I won, I got rewarded for it in my brain with some dopamine. And this game I'm getting punished for the same thing. And now the confusion starts in your brain, because you don't understand, like, why did this happen? If I did the same thing and I won before, it must be my teammates, right? It must be that variance that people are talking about. But in reality, there was probably some flaws in your gameplay as well. That is why people talk about take maximum accountability for everything, because it becomes less confusing for your brain to reward good behavior and punish bad behavior in the game. That is why people tell you, focus on what you're doing in game, in your lane, after lane, etc., and the results will come. But you hear it all the time, but it's actually incredibly, insanely difficult to learn this if you did not learn this at a younger age, when you were like a kid from your parents. It's so difficult because your brain was wired like this in every endeavor that you undertook this far. Most of the things work out, but League is a ultra, hyper, omega competitive game. Every little mistake that you're doing, the enemy will take advantage of it and then shit on you for it. That is how League works. That's why we love it if we win, because it's that difficult. That's why it's so good. It's the most competitive, I would say it's the most competitive endeavor of all time that humans came up with, just because of the accessibility. And I could maybe explain this in another video. I probably will. I think it's coming out on the 22nd. I don't know, but it's about art, the artistic side of League. And in that sense, I think League has done a perfect job of making it accessible and ultra competitive and still artistic to make it engaging and fun. I think League is is perfect. Okay, the only game that I like more than League is Nier Automata, but only because of the ending. You know, all you see is 2B's ass, but that game is actually genius in a different way though. But League for the competitive side, absolutely 10 out of 9 best competitive game ever, my opinion. Valorant is kind of, I mean, all of the shooter games, nothing against shooter people, but y'all are cringe, okay? You don't know how to compete properly. You're like, I shot it. Okay, let me stop here. I don't want to insult any shooter players. Shooting games are really fun, you know? I love to play shooter games with my friends, casually. There's not much competition in these games. They're designed to just be casually enjoyed, even if they have a competitive mode. It's not gonna be as competitive because the variance isn't as high. If you get 5 kills every round, you know, if you're a better fragger, you're just gonna be better. There's nothing much to it. You can drill it. League of Legends doesn't have drillable skills that much. You know, there's like 5,000 skills in League. You can drill one of them, which is last hitting. Like, a League is just a different ballpark, okay? It's like 5,000 steps removed from every other competitive endeavor, even normal sports. I know people maybe disagree. I don't care. You know, it's pretty obvious to me that League is a lot more competitive than football, for example. American football and European football are like the real football, basically, right? The super popular one. Like, you get endurance, you get the shooting thing, and then you have a little bit of strategy, which is super. It is difficult. It is very difficult because most people play it, right? But League has so much more variance. Not only that, League is changing all the time. League introduces new tools into the game all the time. The map even changes now, which just makes it even more difficult. Next year we're getting Fearless Draft. It's disgusting how much more difficult League of Legends is. People cannot understand it really. It's just wild, you know? It's wild how competitive League is. I mean, I just got back to Platinum. Most people think, okay, Platinum, it's not Challenger, it's not even Diamond, bro. You're not even Emerald. They just reintroduced Emeralds. You're not even Emerald. What are you talking about? You have no idea. But let me tell you, okay? League is disgustingly difficult. And especially for certain people, you know? We're struggling with some consistency in their brains, which is what I'm doing, you know? I have ADHD. I was diagnosed, before you, like, you know, call me out. I was diagnosed when I was like 16. I was on medication. I'm not on medication anymore. But it makes it very difficult. I'm not taking it as an excuse. I know I can learn all of these concepts, but it just makes it even more difficult because sometimes I go on these sprees where I'm just impulsively locking in different characters, and that's just what it is. And I also have to accept that, you know? That makes it more difficult. Also, if I play something, I'm training my opponent, you know, to learn how to play against it. If I play a lot of Aurora, more people will see Aurora and know how to play against her. And I have to learn faster how to play against every other champion than they learn how to play against Aurora, in a sense. I need to find newer ways to play this, etc. Like, it's so unbelievably difficult. So this is why this video is also a little bit longer. But I think it's important to find some respect for this game, okay? It's not just as simple, you start to play, 3 months, you're a diamond, you're vibing, you're enjoying life. No. The reality is most people are struggling hard, and that's completely fine. It's completely understandable. That's good, you know? People are struggling. That's the whole point. Struggle through this. If your peak is bronze 4 and you want to get to silver and you make it to bronze 1, that's already reason to celebrate, you know? You improved. Even if you end up in iron 1, you've applied yourself, you know? That is respectable, in my opinion. I respect you, okay? If you apply yourself, you're trying hard, because I respect myself. That's the whole point, right? I respect myself for trying this. Look at this. I'm Platinum 4. Who cares? Negative win rate. Getting shit on in most games. Going on weird random champion lock-in sprees. I do not care. I mean, I care a lot. But I don't care about the stigmata that comes with it, right? I'll queue up again and apply myself again. Try to learn, improve. That's what we can do, okay? Well, before I make like a 50-minute video, I'll stop it right here. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate it a lot, like insane amount. I don't know. I really appreciate it, okay? And I hope you have a nice day. I hope you're learning something, even if it's not a league, you know. Hope you learned something today. Hope you can find something interesting in these videos that I'm posting. And I'll see you hopefully in the next one, you know. and have a good day, have a good evening, have a good everything. Enjoy.
Have they forgotten us yet, little lamb?
All still know us, though they try to forget. Soon, we will remind them.